Make some noise. Hadithi, Hadithi.
Without me saying anymore, help me welcome Chimwemwe Luwani. Chimwemwe. Louder. It's all the way here.
There's a little flyer there. Dr. Kunta. Bring back lost lover in 1 month. (2015) Dr. Piri. Bring back lost lover in 1 week. Time passes on. 2016. Dr. Kunta, bring back lost lover in 2 minutes. Now I'm just thinking, I think the network is being upgraded, right? Like 2G, 3G, 3.5G, 4G, something like that. Now, most of the people who do those things, especially in South Africa here, I can proudly say that they come from Malawi. So I see a lot of these things in Malawi as well. They advertise in the newspapers, but I would like to know from the audience, because I'm thinking you must have seen those things, right? Some of you would say, well, that's nothing, it doesn't make anything. Some of you might be curious, and others would want to go and try and see if you can use that science. Is there anyone who is not sure how these things work and would like to know? All right, okay. Thank you. Before I tell you that, whatever I saw when I had a chance to accompany a friend who went... I'm going to tell you a story, and this story is about what goes through my mind every time I look at that poster. Bring back lost lover in, now it's 2 minutes. Every time I see that flyer, I remember this lover I once had. I didn't really have her as a lover, but I felt something. So we were living in a certain town, and we had family friends, and at that family friend's house there was this young girl. She was pretty. She was dark like chocolate. I can't really describe to you what exactly made her so beautiful, but I just felt it. And every time she would smile, wow, it pierced my heart. So we happened to be sent to the same boarding school. And because I had a soft heart for her, you know, my grandfather was a very stingy person. He was a cheapskate. So he would give me things, Milos, milks, biscuits, and things like that, but he would not give me a lot of money. He would give me just a little bit to go through the whole term. So I wanted to spoil this lady, and I would give her my things. Biscuits, milk, whether it's Ovaltine, Milo. I wanted to impress her. Now, the problem was, we were not officially in a relationship. But I felt so good about her, and I really wanted her to be in that relationship. Now, back in the years, for those of us who may not really remember how things were going, there was a starting point of a relationship, and there was an ending point of a relationship. A man had to man up and approach a lady face to face. And in our town, because there was a lot of bush around, people would perhaps, you would picture a couple. A lady is probably leaning against the tree. And the man is busy saying words to this lady. And these words are making this lady to tilt her head and perhaps mow the grass around the area. And they take this grass and bite it a little bit and then throw it off. Pick another grass, bite it, throw it off, and on like that. Now, I didn't know that. I couldn't do that. I couldn't man up to face her and do that. Now, the alternative way of how to start a relationship back in the years was you had to write a letter. I know some of you know what those letters were looking like. You know, the envelope, on the envelope, somewhere probably at the right-hand side of the envelope, kiss to kiss, love to love. So, inside that envelope, you would have a very beautiful letter, well decorated, well garnished. The address, man. You know, in Malawi we've got one of the biggest lakes, the third largest lake in Africa. It's big. So the address would go like, my love for you will never die until Lake Malawi dries. And you know what the rest of the contents would be. But probably right at the signature there, you know, you sign, and then there's probably a heart drawn there, and then next to it another heart, and then an arrow. I couldn't do that either. So I had a problem, you know, because I was too timid, I was too shy, I couldn't talk to her. If we were to tier these things, so you're an item. If you're not an item, you're in the friend zone, right? So we were not an item, but I was showing all this love to her, I was giving all these things. But I had trouble. I was going to be relegated to friend zone, and perhaps even worse, relation zone, like you're like distant cousins or something. So I was in a big dilemma. So I tried my best, I gave her all the best, and I ran out of things. Now when I ran out of things, I had no food for myself, I couldn't look after myself. So there was a shop nearby. So I went to the shop owner, and I had to negotiate a deal. And this deal was like, you know, sir, I've run out of money, but I need you to just help me with a few groceries so that they can just help me get to the end of the term. My parents are going to send me more money, and when they do, I'm going to square you off. So, the shop owner, being in business, he loved it. He said, okay, fine, I'll give you. And he gave me things. And the first consignment of the groceries I had, 8 rand 50 cents, perhaps, yeah, because that was back in the years when 8 rand was something. So I got my groceries and I went to my room, and I would like to keep the legacy. I would like to stay on top, and I shared some of the things with her, and I ran out of those things again. So I kept going back to the shop, and the bill just kept on rising and rising for the love of this lady who I couldn't even propose so that we could have a relationship. So the bill came to about 25 rand, 50 something. And I was in trouble. How do I pay this back? My grandfather is a very, very stingy person. Now, if you think I'm a cheapskate, wait until if you meet him, because he's just nuclear in terms of being cheapskate. So I devised a plan. I said, I'm going to write my parents and I'll tell them I need a bailout. There's a situation here. So I went back to the shop. I borrowed an envelope. It added to the bill slightly. And then I wrote my grandfather. I told him how the school was going, and I told him that we had a little problem. And the problem was that it was sports day, and we were a bunch of guys, and we had a ball, and we were trying to go to the grounds, and as we were going there, someone accidentally hit the ball, and it broke the glass of the window of the headmaster's office. So they're not going to allow me to sit for exams at the end of the term until I get that fixed. So please, send me something to clear that. So, well, days passed. And then it was after a week. Someone called Zonwayo. I saw him running towards me and he said to me, Jim, hey, you wanted at the headmaster's office. Okay, I said, wow, okay, that's beautiful. I think the plan is working. So I quickly dashed to the headmaster's office. When I got there, I saw, okay, yeah, there's the headmaster in there. And then there's another person in there. I can't really figure out who it is. And then when I really got there and I was there, there was my grandfather. And he had one simple question. Son, please point at the glass that you broke. Now, to cut a long story short, the bill was paid, I sat for my exams, and life went on. Now, the problem was that lady didn't come back to the same school. She moved on, and I don't know where she is. But I think she is alive. But that's now where she comes in. Bring back your lost lover. Now it's at perhaps 1 minute. Now, I promised you that I was going to share with you an experience that I had when I escorted a friend to meet this medicine man. I had a colleague called Gift, and he, at one time, was also interested. He was curious, just like some of you. How does this thing work? Does it really work? Well, let's try and see. So the other day he called me and he says, yeah, he is here. So he took us to another room, and we sat there. So we asked him some questions, but then at the bottom of it, we wanted to find out, how does it work? What is it that we need to do to bring back that lost lover? Does someone know? No. All right. So the medicine man, being the science man, he says, we need to get, in English I would translate it like DNA sample. So, man, it started to get scary. What is it? And then she says, if you can bring that underwear, I will do the muti. But then I'm thinking, if I can do that, then how is he bringing back Mr. MC? Make some noise! Hadithi, Hadithi!